2020. (2021) 2022. The introduction to a new decade, but in many ways a time of frustration. The Indiana storm seasons came and went, moments of success dwarfed by periods of quiescence. I undoubtedly had some memorable adventures, but from tornadic weather to space weather, my experiences offered me little personal progress. And then came 2023. And with it came a surge of incredible experiences through my adventures, from severe weather to space weather to bizarre weather. But man, look at that structure! Beautiful mezzo! Wow! It was an amazing year full of spectacular sights, filling me with a sense of fascination and wonder. This is a tornado-worn supercell we're dealing with right here. There's potential for strong tornadoes to rip across Indiana. Join me as we take a look back at storm season 2023, the year of adventure. As Indiana began to emerge from a generally uneventful winter, signs pointed toward the beginning of an active year. Only months earlier, a massive and historic blizzard would whip across the Great Lakes. Now, as the sun returned and snowdrifts began to recede, severe storms and tornadoes would take center stage. We watched in horror as an extremely violent and deadly tornado tore through the town of Rolling Fork, Mississippi on the night of March 24th. Little did we know that, only 1 week later, nature would be gearing up to produce one of the largest tornado outbreaks of all time. It is March 31st, 2023, and a dangerous severe weather risk is setting up over the Midwest. A major tornado outbreak is about to erupt in the coming hours across Iowa, Illinois, Missouri, Arkansas, and eventually spreading into Indiana. This is the highest severe weather risk we've had in several years, including a moderate risk over most of Indiana right now. Meanwhile, over in Illinois, a high risk of severe weather has been issued. Parts of Illinois and Iowa, strong to violent tornadoes possible this afternoon as supercells mature and spread across the region. As dozens upon dozens of tornadoes tear across the Midwest, under the first high risk in 10 years, a sense of apprehension builds in me. I know that this outbreak will reach Indiana well after dark, and within an impressive environment, it would continue to produce strong tornadoes. As severe storms begin bearing down on the area, I head out to get a view. Looking up to the north, severe thunderstorm warning going on across parts of northern Indiana previously, tornadic. Damaging winds, heavy rain, lightning, and maybe hail ongoing, and a tornado threat could still develop rather quickly. That's why we are on alert to watch these as they do move in. You can see the line of clouds right over there. Oh, power flash. Directly north. Big time power flash. Big time going on just to the north here. But things quickly spiral into a dangerous situation. A new tornado suddenly touches down near the town of Colfax, Indiana, and the storm is on the collision course with neighboring Howard County. Because of the dangerous nature of the threat, and trying to warn my family in the storm's path, I intentionally stay out of the tornado's path. Although I avoid the storm's most dangerous components, numerous local damage reports soon start to flood in. It becomes apparent that the storm has inflicted significant damage, but the extent of destruction cannot be known in the dark of night. The following days reveal the magnitude and area of damage inflicted by this historic outbreak. Howard County sees a total of 3 tornadoes, 2 EF0s near Rushville, and a much stronger EF1 south of Greentown, which causes 1 serious injury. Indiana saw nearly 24 tornadoes that night, including 2 killer tornadoes in southern Indiana. This made it Indiana's deadliest tornado outbreak since March 2, 2012. As a whole, the event spawned 147 tornadoes and killed 26 people. It ranks as the 3rd largest tornado outbreak ever recorded. But the active severe weather pattern continued into April, and Indiana was under the threat of another outbreak only days later. Tomorrow, we have the highest tornado probabilities in the state of Indiana so far this season, higher than March 31st. There's potential for strong tornadoes to rip across Indiana, potential for a tornado outbreak in the state. The Storm Prediction Center highlighted our risk with heightened tornado probabilities, indicating the potential for strong tornadoes. However, because of poor destabilization and a considerable long boundary component to wind shear, abundant clustering occurred and the risk was diminished. Severe storms would still impact Indiana, including this one near Kokomo. Starting right at the first big shelf of the year. I'm in it right now. Although this event failed to meet expectations, more amazing things were in store later in the month. A few weeks later, I would witness a spectacular display of nature's power across the night sky. Although I was recovering from wisdom tooth surgery a day prior, it didn't stop me when elevated storms began to approach the area. I got in position and was quickly amazed by the vibrant discharges striking the earth. Holy crap. Absolute wow. Photo is utterly great, but this is getting really close. Oh, wow. Lightning is one of nature's most dangerous aspects, but it's also one of the most captivating. And although many more amazing events awaited me later in the year, this night would stand as my favorite lightning display. But my next adventure would feature a very different display of light across the night sky, something much rarer, something otherworldly. For more than 10 years, nearly as long as my love of weather has existed, I had been on the hunt for the elusive Aurora Borealis. But through the years and many solar storms, my search was never successful. That would all change on April 23rd. A powerful solar storm was barreling toward Earth, and although heavy cloud cover initially prevailed, the sky over northern Indiana would soon open up, in more than one way. There it is. After 10 years. There it is at last. Wow. Okay, this is in northern Indiana. We've got a vivid aurora display developing right in front of us from a strong geomagnetic storm going on right now. It is getting even more vivid. I stood captivated beneath these undulating curtains of light, pillars like colored flames waving across the night sky. It was a phenomenal personal success and Indiana's most vibrant aurora in many years. May often marks the beginning of Indiana's most active period for severe weather. And with a large-scale shift from a third-year La Niña toward a warmer ENSO phase, active weather was set to continue. A particularly incredible storm came on May 7th, when a cluster of severe storms exploded in northern Indiana. I chased northward to near the city of Peru. Great structure appearing this evening on a line of thunderstorms in northern Indiana. We've got a very beautiful thunderstorm going on, strengthening. We've got a lot of thunder going on. The clouds are getting thicker. Deep rain core back there. Frequent lightning. Sculpted structure. This is utterly phenomenal right here. I stood before this sculpted formation stretched across the sky, filled with a sense of awe and wonder. But soon, it was time to head south. I am going south pretty good, because this thing is about to be chasing me now. I followed the storm south for a while, eventually catching up to its eerie black clouds and unending roar of thunder. The hail core which followed lasted a fairly long time, dropping stones of varying sizes, including quarter size. Unfortunately, the very next day would see my worst chasing failure of the year. During the afternoon, an isolated supercell developed around Carroll County, and would produce a hybrid landspout tornado near the town of Delphi. Circumstances did not align in my favor, and unfortunately, I was only able to intercept the storm once it had weakened, and was no longer tornadic. Sporadic dust devils would provide me small compensation in the dry weeks which followed, yet I remained haunted by my chasing failure. It was such a clear case, and so close by that I would have been able to intercept it easily. It seemed as though my years of tornado chasing failures were set to continue, my only successful vortex intercepts coming from 0-metering dust devils. The active weather pattern returned in June, with strong thunderstorms once again roaming the Indiana countryside. But after this encounter near the town of Contreras, the Great Lakes would face a very different weather hazard. One of the year's most pronounced natural disasters in North America came from a historically active Canadian wildfire season. Over 6,500 fires burned 45 million acres during the year, about 5% of Canada's entire forest area. The enormous amount of smoke generated by these fires drifted over the United States on several summer days. The smoke was the thickest I've ever seen around here, and produced some of the worst air quality in the world. Some incredibly bad air quality out here. I mean, really bad. You can taste it, you can smell it, it burns your throat. It is something that I've never seen around here in Indiana. This is really an extraordinary event. This was certainly the weather event I disliked most, both for its impacts here and in Canada, but it was still a significant event, which I documented thoroughly. Ironically, the nauseating smoke would actually allow me to capture an extremely rare weather event. Because the sunlight was so thoroughly filtered by heavy smoke, I spent some evenings capturing images of the setting sun without a filter. While doing this on June 9th, I was absolutely stunned to see one of the rarest cloud types of all, a horseshoe vortex cloud. This bizarre cloud, which developed under unusual conditions, passed between me and the sun at a distance and became one of the most unusual weather events I've ever documented. But as these events were occurring, one of the year's biggest adventures was brewing on the horizon. It was the evening of June 24th, 2023. Tomorrow we have a pretty good severe weather risk going on in Indiana. Tornadoes, damaging winds, very large hail, all of these are possible. This is the most substantial severe weather risk Indiana has had in several months. The event would begin with early morning storms over the state, but by afternoon things were destabilizing quickly. Now we've got significant moisture, and we're building in very large potential energy this afternoon. Cape may exceed 3,000 joules per kilogram. It is a humid environment where you just feel like something is going to happen. And then the supercells erupted. The low-level winds are working. It's humid, it's hot, and it feels like things are coming together. We could have supercells pretty soon. We moved southward into central Indiana, targeting an intense tornado-warned supercell near the town of Sheridan, which was producing baseball-sized hail. The massive storm encompassed the southern sky, casting its shadow over us as we moved into position. Currently in the city of Elwood, Indiana, looking at a supercell that is coming into the area, coming into part of Madison County. It is looking like a pretty significant storm. The cell began to show signs of weakening, but as we approached the backside of the updraft, something appeared in the sky.
I think it'd be right there on the back. That's not a funnel.
A thin rope funnel twisted into the decaying updraft near the small town of Hobbs, north of Indianapolis. The funnel was a welcome sight and would mark the final performance in this storm's incredible life cycle. We moved north to intercept a new cell near Tifton, Indiana, and to my surprise, although this storm was much smaller, its structure would be spectacular. Beautiful mezzo! Wow! Strongly rotating. But man, look at that structure! That is mega LP structure on that. A stunning, low precipitation supercell, something rare for Indiana. I struggled to get my gear organized as the mesocyclone and accompanying funnel cloud spun before a sunny sky. My spirits now just as high as my adrenaline, we stood under the writhing updraft, watching as it gradually decayed into harmless wisps of cloud. Of all the things I expected to see this day, this wasn't one of them. Moving north from there, we would intercept our third and final supercell, with a storm moving into Grant County, which was presenting an incredible display of cumulonimbus structure. The crisp updraft of our final storm was fully visible, standing like a mountain over the Indiana landscape. It was an active day of severe weather in the state, including tornadoes, one of which was unfortunately deadly. But for our experiences, it was one of my favorite chase days of the year. Summer. That beautiful time of year where daily cumulus clouds decorate the sky and thunderstorms abound. Not all days are chaseable, but it's an exciting time of year. July would be one of the most active months of the year for my chases, starting with the severe storm near the town of Galveston, Indiana. Although most severe storms were concentrated over southern parts of the state, this more isolated storm was responsible for tree damage in Cass County, and I was able to witness its surprisingly beautiful structure. The storm would soon become disorganized as it progressed eastward, no longer posing a threat for severe weather. My next chase day came on July 20th when strong to severe storms developed in Indiana. Okay, so round one didn't really do much. Now we look at the potential for other rounds coming in. A few storms developed during the day, but the evening would bring the main show. A beautiful thunderstorm with tall, flowing rain curtains, which I tracked as it moved through rural southern Miami County. The year had given me so many amazing things, but for all this, I still hadn't achieved my primary goal. As a result of numerous factors, I hadn't seen a tornado in several years, and so far 2023 had not reached that goal. This changed, however, on July 29th, the culmination of one of the year's most active severe weather days. It all began very early in the morning of July 28th near Kokomo, Indiana. I was able to intercept a strengthening cluster of storms before my day really got started, my interest caught by its rapid cloud motion along the leading edge. This suggested that the storm was producing strong outflow winds within a very moist low-level environment, but I didn't know just how strong the wind would become. Big time winds. Big time winds. Holy crap. But once the storm passed, the day was far from over. Intense heating of this moist air mass supported extreme destabilization through the day, and in concert with an approaching jet stream disturbance, would allow for widespread severe weather development during the evening. This next round came as a supercell began to develop in northern Cass County, and from the south, my view of this colossal storm was spectacular. The entire northern sky was dominated by its towering structure, illuminated in warm hues by the lowering sun. As the cell progressed eastward toward the town of Mexico, Indiana, I raced northward for an intercept, knowing that my light was fading fast. Coming over the hill, I was met with darkness.
Black sky, wow.
I positioned north of the city of Peru, gazing under the storm's dark base, alive with electricity. Big time severe storm going on in central Miami County at the moment. Vicious looking storm here. Whoa, big time cloud to ground strikes, wow. At this point, the cell began to merge with other storms to its northwest, and I went back south. Although these storms gradually weakened into the night, there was one round left, one which would produce a tornado. The main squall line of the event approached early in the morning of the 29th, having produced widespread wind damage to our west. I was positioned southeast of the town of Walton, attempting to get photos of the approaching shelf cloud when my camera captured something unexpected. Between few lightning flashes, a bull funnel lowered beneath the storm. This was a tornado, and it was headed right for me. We soon heard a distant roar, combination tornado and RFD surge. The RFD surge pushed it northward after the tornado weakened, leaving us with strong wind and rain. I was only able to find minor crop damage from this EF0 tornado, but it didn't matter. I had done it. After years of failed attempts, I managed to film a tornado, my first one at night. At last, 2023 had solidified my primary goal. Sometimes in storm chasing, you find yourself on some strange back road which doesn't offer you the best view of your storm. Where in the world am I? Okay. Eel River Road? Bob's Road. Welcome to storm chasing. Our road is closed. This is where I found myself on August 17th, as I tried getting a view of a severe storm with possible wall cloud south of Wabash, Indiana. Eventually though, I was able to get a visual on it from the Mississinawa Dam, allowing me to witness its dense precipitation core, which was producing large hail.
That's pretty neat.
It took me a long time, but I finally found the rain. The storm season was beginning to wind down. Through sporadic days of showers and storms, the air was gradually cooling, the crops drying, and the leaves changing. It had been an amazing year, but 2023 had one more surprise left in store: the best September storm structure I've ever seen. It was late in the afternoon on September 26th as I tracked a strong storm near Galveston once again. Not expecting much, I was surprised to see what appeared to be a large inflow tail pulling into a developing wall cloud. Subsequent minutes would see the consolidation of this structure, which had the appearance of being supercellular. Although the circulation was broad and rather weak, it gave indications of being supercellular for a time. For the last time in the 2023 storm season, I once again found myself in awe at the evolving storm structure in front of me.
This is a beautiful storm, wow.
The brief circulation quickly fell apart, its structure becoming diffuse as outflow took over. But it was a fitting end to my experiences in the season. Something so beautiful and fleeting, something which I was meant to see. On November 4th, I found myself traveling south to the town of Danville, Indiana. This time, it wasn't for a storm, but for another special event.
And we have arrived at the 2023 Indiana Storm Chaser.
The 2023 Indiana Storm Chaser Convention brought together people from 13 states, all gathered for an exciting day of presentations and to review the year. I was able to meet some fantastic people there, including meteorologist Sam Lashley and storm chaser Skip Talbot. And I met back up with storm chaser Norman Smith, whom I first met in April alongside James Treft.
Okay, we're here at the Chaser Convention 2023, and we got Norman Smith over here.
What's up?
And currently, right now, we're out to lunch, but things have been pretty good so far.
Yes.
It was a great final chapter to the 2023 storm season, because this year, more than any before it, showed that storm chasing isn't just about menacing supercells, severe storms, or tornadoes. It's also about the people you share it with, and the places you go along the way. For me, 2023 was a year of amazing success, my first really good storm season in several years. It gave me displays of so many amazing aspects of nature, and helped me to reach personal goals as I experienced them. My hope is to continue this success in 2024, meeting more of you, chasing further, and sharing my adventures in weather. Thank you all for making this year what it was. Have a Merry Christmas, and I'll see you in 2024.